There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. And when you out there without care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me
crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I love this song.
I hope that you're having the
Time of your life. Think twice.
That's my only advice.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Lorraine Yango, I see you. I do. A few shout outs to you guys. You know, the other day, someone said to me, because, I'm not very big on fashion and I'm not really into clothes. It's just not my thing. Okay. Someone said to me the other day, every time I wear this shirt, someone says to me, you look like a council worker. Could somebody please explain that to me? Does this shirt give you that vibe? Does it give you a council worker, civil servant vibe? Tell me in the comments below. Guys, hope you're well. Just a quick one. And before I get into the broadcast, I have to point out, and I'm not sure if you guys are sensing this, because I'm getting a very strong anti-police sentiment. And this is fostered and it is conjured in part by these people that we call opposition leaders. Here it is. You've got Harry Calabar, who was being asked by the police about something, and rightly or wrongly, whatever it was, I think that when a leader is engaging with law enforcement, you should set the example. You really should. You shouldn't give off the vibe that you're anti-law enforcement or anti-police. You should give off the vibe that you are a law-abiding citizen and that you want to do the right thing. Now, of course, that's not to say that the police are always perfect. They're not, because sometimes the police do fall short. They are susceptible to making mistakes. We know that. We appreciate that. But my point is, as a leader, you really should set an example. And then, of course, you've got this Sean Tembo who seems to celebrate the fact that 9 police officers were beaten to a pulp, beaten within an inch of their lives, 3 of them in ICU. Sean Tembo decides to mock them. Now, and this is the reason I say presidential candidates should be subjected to a presidential debate, because I guarantee you, leaders will begin to measure what they say and what they do, because when they know that there's a looming debate coming, they will be asked those questions. They will be challenged. Their positions will be queried. Their policies will be criticized. Their personal lives will be scrutinized. But in Zambia, a presidential candidate or a person that puts his name or her name forward for the presidency has to have a level of accountability, has to have a level of leadership. That's the reason they're called leaders. A leader knows more than you, or at least they should. When you go to a doctor and you put yourself on the operating table, that doctor better know more than you, because he's about to open you up. That's the reason they're called leaders. They are held to a higher standard. Am I making sense? Could somebody please tell me in the comments if what I'm saying is resonating with you? Tell me now. The other day, I was saying to you that the worst possible thing you can do as a vlogger is to engage with the audience while you're giving your dissertation or your delivery. But this is the shout out portion of the broadcast, so we're fine to do this. So, guys, very quickly, I just want to talk to you about, and I've put it on the title there, how to manage the image of the former head of state. Now, all of you know that yesterday, and this video was everywhere, it was a videotape of our former president, Edgar Lungu. As many of you know, he's a health enthusiast. He loves to work out. He loves to exercise. This is something that he consistently did while he was president. And we appreciated him for that, you know, because he really sort of fostered this idea that you have to go out and get out and exercise. Well, yesterday he was on not a treadmill. It was what do you call that? The thing? It's not a treadmill. A treadmill is what you run on. But he was on tell me in the comments what that is. The thing that bike that President Lungu was on yesterday. Tell me in the comments, and I'll throw your comment up here. If you tell me what it is, I'll throw it up. But that bike, he was on that bike, and he was wearing a tank top. We call it a tank top. In Zambia, it's referred to as a vest, a white vest. Now, the problem with that image that I had was that it sort of made the former head of state look a bit thin. And it gave off the idea that he was gaunt. You know, let me throw this up here, because in Zambia you have to be very careful. They will see, you know, this word here. I'll throw it up here in a second. Are you familiar with this word? You know this word? You know what gaunt means? Here, I'll throw it up. I'll define it. I'll throw it up for you. Somebody looks thin. Now, this is my advice to the president, the former president's handlers, because there's a guy, you remember the video, there's a guy videotaping him, and he's giving the president compliments, saying, you know, you look better than us, you're older than we are, you look better than us. That to me sounded very condescending. It did. And I didn't appreciate the fact that he put the president on blast like that, when all that does is that it attracts unnecessary criticism and scrutiny and ridicule from the public, when the former president doesn't have to be embroiled in that sort of thing. Manage the former president's image, meaning wherever he goes, whatever he does, make sure that he's looking his best. This is the reason movie stars in Hollywood, they don't like it when you bull a killer. You know, the movie stars, when you follow them around, when they're shopping, or when they don't like that, because you might take an unflattering photograph of them. But movie stars love being photographed on the red carpet. You know why? Because they're at their best. You know, they're wearing nice clothes. They have the hair's nice, the makeup, the jewelry, everything's on point. And so they stand there and you photograph them. That's the reason they don't like being followed, is because you might capture them in an unflattering moment. The head of state, a former head of state, has to always be presented in the best light possible. Exposing the former president to unnecessary ridicule is tacky, to say the very least. You know, so I think that the guy that was recording the president yesterday, he sort of dropped the ball. He dropped the ball on that. And guys, you have to circle the wagons on that. Okay, And what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying this disrespectfully, as you can see and you can tell. I'm really coming from a place of concern, a place of really trying to give you good advice. If you shroud, if you cover, if you camouflage this advice in no mwaya just a kada, if you oversimplify it in that manner, then you don't have ears to hear. Advise. I'm advising you. It's got nothing to do with that. If you look at former President Barack Obama, he still, those guys, even after you leave office, they still have handlers. Their job is to make sure that the former president is always looking at his best, whether that's in the gym or shopping. The former president can't look haggard. You know the word haggard? He can't look gaunt, because it attracts unnecessary ridicule from the public. You don't need that. Now, we recognize, of course, we recognize that once the veil of the presidency has been lifted, people look different. And it doesn't matter where you're from. Even Barack Obama, he looked a certain way when he was president. The moment he left the office, his appearance changed, because there's an image, there's a radiance that comes with being a president that is not there once you leave. But it doesn't mean that you have to look haggard. It doesn't mean you have to look, here's the word, I'll throw it up. You have to look gaunt. Because I know some of you PF cadres, you'll get very upset. Iwe gaunt. Gaunt. Gaunt simply means thin, you noticeably thin. Yeah. All right. I was going to talk about these other two, but I've got a meeting. I got to go. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless. Bye.